So you're thinking of moving to Kansas City and the surrounding areas like Shawnee, Kansas, but you want to know the pros and the cons, the good and the bad before making that decision to move to Shawnee. Well, in this video, that's exactly what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about that today because Shawnee, Kansas is actually one of the top cities to live in Kansas. Now, I'm a little jaded because my kids grew up here in Shawnee and we loved raising our family here. And we have lots of friends who live here in Shawnee. There are lots of pros to Shawnee, Kansas, but you'll want to stick around until the very end because there are some cons that you need to be aware of as well before making that decision. And weigh both of them out, the good and the bad and pros and cons, before making that decision to move to Shawnee, Kansas. And we're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time on our channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Kansas City and the surrounding areas like Shawnee, Kansas, then make sure that you subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to know about the current market here in Shawnee, Kansas. My name is Jimmy Ezell. My wife Nikki and I are with the Living in Kansas City team, and every single day we get phone calls, text messages, and emails every day from people just like you and you and you. And so whether you're looking to move here in Kansas City the next 7 days or 7 months, feel free to reach out to us as all of our contact information is in the description box below. We'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Shawnee, Kansas. Now, before we dive in today, I'm here in downtown Shawnee. I want to show you, here's the City Hall. Let's take a little tour this morning and try to do the best we can. We've got a little bit of construction and of course, this is a busy part of town here in Johnson Drive. So this is actually the intersection of Johnson Drive and Neiman, and this is the historic downtown. And you'll find out, you can kind of see here, and this is a busy part of town, so we'll do the best we can. But nearby here, you've got some breweries, local brews. This is a good place. My wife and I have eaten at before. And then not too far from down here, actually, if you go down, is another park where they actually have old Shawnee days. And man, it is packed out. We took our kids there when they were younger. And then let me show you a couple other things too. So like down this road, all the way, it takes you down towards the Mission area. And then if you go south here, this is Johnson Drive. So this street here that I'm on, this is actually Johnson Drive. But there's another street just down this way that'll take you to Shawnee Mission Parkway. And that's another major street that people go on, okay? They run parallel, and that will actually take you through most of Shawnee. And so what you'll find out about Shawnee is that we, even though it's out in the suburbs, it's still very close to Kansas City. And of course, you have very easy access into downtown. And living in Kansas City, if you've watched any of our other videos, you also know that our traffic here, especially for rush hour, isn't that bad. And so, you can get there. So that's just a little bit. I wanted to just kind of show you where we're at downtown here. Shawnee, a lot of history and of course, a lot of activity going on down here. Some good food places. You may see McLean's Market is right over here around that corner. And then of course, I'm going to show you guys, I'll do a little video like driving through Shawnee Mission Parkway as well. So you can kind of see that as well. And so you can see even right now, people are walking in the day. It gets a little bit busy here, especially when there's activities happening in downtown Shawnee as well. So I wanted to just give you guys a little of that. Let's hop in my car. We are going to do, actually today we're doing the pros and cons. And so let's jump into the pros and cons, and then I'm gonna give you guys some more so you guys can make that decision whether Shawnee is a good fit for you. We absolutely love Shawnee. Like I said, we've raised our kids here, and it's just a great place to be part of a community and raise your family, all right? So let's get into the pros and cons, and we'll get after it right now. So let's dive into the pros and the cons, the good and the bad of living in Shawnee, Kansas. In this video, I'll be doing 5 pros and 5 cons. Let's start with the cons first, and let's get the negative out of the way. The first con is the cost of living. Let's start with one of the most important factors to consider when moving anywhere, and that's the cost of living. Now, compared to a big city like New York or San Francisco, Shawnee's cost of living is still more affordable. But when you compare it to other parts of Kansas, you'll notice that Shawnee is on the higher end of this. The median home value is around $306,000, which is significantly higher than the Kansas state average. Now, this can make home ownership a bit of a stretch, especially for our first-time homebuyers. Now, it's just not on home prices, but property taxes are also a little higher in Shawnee than you might find in other parts of the state. They're higher because you'll pay for great public schools, streets, city services, parks and amenities, and for a safe community as well. For those on a tight budget or for retirees living on a fixed income, these costs can add up very quickly. Plus, as the area grows and develops, we're seeing prices for goods and services gradually climb. While Shawnee isn't as expensive as most major metropolitan areas, it's certainly pricier than some of the smaller towns here in Kansas. So if you're moving from a bigger city, then our cost of living is actually going to be a pro. Just know that with Shawnee, as it continues to attract more and more people to the high quality of living and the life that you get living in Shawnee, it's going to, the prices and the cost of living is going to continue to, gradually grow and of course get higher and higher. So make sure that you're aware of that, but that's going to definitely be our first con in terms of living in Shawnee. Our next con is going to be public transportation. Now let's talk about public transportation because Shawnee is a growing suburb, but one thing it doesn't have is an abundance in public transportation. If you're used to living in a city where you've got great public transit, Shawnee might feel a little inconvenient for you in this area. See, most residents rely on their cars to get around, and while driving isn't a problem for some, not everyone wants or can afford to be dependent on personal vehicles. There are some bus routes available, but the coverage is kind of limited and not as frequent as you might find in some of these larger cities like Chicago. Now, this can be a real issue if you don't have access to a car, especially when it comes to commuting for work or running errands or getting to appointments. Especially if you have your family, you've got teenagers, you're going to have to drive, and so the lack of public transportation can be a little tricky. Shawnee is a very dense city, suburban, and you can get around your neighborhoods and enjoy that, but you're probably going to need to have a car, especially if you're going to go to downtown or the eastern side of Kansas City. Now there's talks of improving the public transportation, but it's in the works and it's not done yet. And so I would highly encourage you to make sure that that this is definitely a con that you're going to probably need a car, and public transportation is just not readily available there in Shawnee. Our next con is going to be the limited nightlife. Now, Shawnee is a fantastic place for families, but if you're someone who thrives on nightlife, you might find yourself venturing out to Kansas City more often than you'd really like to, because that's where all the action is. Shawnee's nightlife scenery is pretty low. You've got some good restaurants, local breweries, but it's not a town exactly known for late night, entertainment. That being said, if you're into more relaxed evenings, you might find some great spots to grab a drink or dinner, with family and friends. There are also some local breweries, cozy spots to hang out. But if you're looking for a bustling nightlife with concerts, clubs, or big events, you'll probably have to drive into Kansas City or maybe some of the other suburbs. There are some local restaurants and bars that have live music, until a little later at night. But overall, Shawnee's nightlife is more about enjoying a laid-back evening with your family or friends and hitting up the party scene. All right, now for some of you, this is a little slower pace and this could be a pro, but for those that want the vibrant nightlife, you probably will need to explore some of the surrounding areas or go downtown for that nightlife. So that would definitely be a con as well. Now our next con is going to be the weather extremes. Now Shawnee, like most of the Midwest, experiences some pretty extreme weather. Summers can be hot and humid, with temperatures often climbing into the 90s, and that humidity can make it feel even warmer. And it's not uncommon to feel like you're living in a sauna, during the peak of summer when you're in Shawnee or in Kansas City. And ladies, for some of you, just get ready for flat hair days when it's humid. Now, the flip side to that is winters in Shawnee can be very cold, with temperatures regularly, dipping below freezing and some snowfall. Now, while the snow isn't as bad as what you'd see up north, it's enough to disrupt your daily routines, especially if you're not used to driving on icy roads. On snowy or icy days, we'll turn on the TV, get up early, watch the news, and that'll tell us if we're going to go out, because when there's snow and ice days and we turn on the TV and there's lots of accidents in the metro area, that's the days that we just say, hey, you know what, we're not gonna go out that day. And so if you're coming from the north, you're probably a pro, but just understand that, we typically, a lot of us, and myself included, actually wait until they really plow all the streets. and get the roads cleared away. Now, the other thing is, in the Midwest, is that being in the Midwest, you also have, of course, tornadoes, all right? And we're in Tornado Alley, so there's severe weather. You need to be prepared for that. Most homes here have basements or storm shelters. However, if you don't have a basement or storm shelter, make sure that you have a plan. Just keep that in mind. That'll give you some peace of mind during our storm season. And so you've got extreme weather. The summers are hot, the winters can get cold, then you've got spring and fall, and sometimes, of course, tornadoes coming in here, and you'll hear the sirens, and so just make sure you're ready for that. But we definitely do have some of the extreme weather, and that would be a con for some of you that are coming from the East Coast, West Coast, and you're used to, like, if you're coming from San Diego, you've got that beautiful weather year round. So keep that in mind as well. And for many of you that aren't used to humidity, you're definitely gonna have that here in Shawnee and the Kansas City area. Now, the next con is going to be traffic during rush hours. As Shawnee continues to grow, that's becoming more noticeable is the rush hour traffic. With more people moving to the area, traffic congestion has really increased, especially during rush hours. And if you're commuting to and from work during these peak times, you might find yourself stuck in some traffic longer than normal, especially like on Shawnee Mission Parkway or Johnson Drive to get onto the on-ramps of I-35. Shawnee's location in Kansas City means it's close to like the major highways, which is great for access, but also means that rush hour traffic can be a bit of a headache. So if you work in the city or maybe some other nearby suburbs, plan for a longer commute during these times. While it's not as bad as like major metropolitan traffic, it's something to keep in mind, especially if your schedule doesn't allow much flexibility, getting around town during rush hour. So keep that in mind. It's definitely going to be a con is the the congestion during rush hour traffic. But if you plan for it, you should be able to get through it as well. All right, now let's talk about the pros of living in Shawnee, Kansas, because there's a lot of good ones. The first one is going to be the strong economy. One of the best things about living in Shawnee is the strong local economy. With an unemployment rate of just, at the time of this video, 2.57%, it typically is lower than the national average because Shawnee, it offers a very stable job market, jobs in healthcare, education, and so whether you're looking like start a career or start a business, there's plenty of opportunity in Shawnee. Plus, Shawnee has a higher than average household income, which contributes to even more financial security inside the community. The average median household income over $100,000, and that comes from niche.com. And so what's happening is that the infrastructure is being built out in Shawnee, and what's going to end up happening is as more of that infrastructure builds out, more job opportunities for residents. And so if you're looking for a place, with a stable economy and a diverse job market, Shawnee's got you covered because it is definitely one of those the suburbs in Kansas City, around in the surrounding area of Kansas City, that has a very stable economy and huge potential for growth opportunity as well. Now, one of my favorite parts of Shawnee is which is a huge pro, is the livability. Shawnee ranks as one of the best places to live in Kansas, and for good reason. With a livability score of 86, you've got everything from great parks to shopping, dining options. It's a great blend of suburban comfort with the urban convenience. Now, the city has an excellent mix of amenities, making it very easy to access everything you would ever need. Whether it's grabbing groceries, heading to the gym, or taking the family out for a meal, Shawnee has plenty to offer. Plus, it's close enough to Kansas City that you can enjoy everything that the major metro area provides, without the constant hustle and bustle of being downtown. Now, you'll see many people out having neighborhood block parties and attending local events like old Shawnee days, going to a theater in the park, or even going to Shawnee Mission Park and enjoying the lake there. So if you're looking for a place that offers a little bit of everything, urban amenities with suburban comfort, then Shawnee is really a fantastic option for you there. It's one of the reasons why we loved raising our children there, because we didn't want the city hustle necessarily. We wanted that suburban feel out in the neighborhoods. The kids could ride their bikes, all that kind of stuff. And you definitely get that. Even in our vlog tour, you'll see lots of neighborhoods, lots of people out walking, especially when the weather's nice, and we have a lot of nice weather, but you also see that. So that's definitely gonna be a pro, is the livability factor of Shawnee, Kansas. Our next pro is gonna be that
Shawnee has incredible schools, the great education system that it offers. See, one of the standout features of Shawnee is really its excellent education system. Shawnee is home to some of the top-rated schools in all of Kansas, making it an ideal location for families with children. You know, the public schools here are highly ranked with a strong focus on both academics as well as extracurricular activities. Shawnee schools continue to rank A or higher. Shawnee has 2 great school districts that feed into it. You know, you've got the DeSoto Unified 232 and then the Shawnee Mission School District as well. And we'll pull up the boundaries of both of these maps here and as I'm talking about them. So here's the Unified 232 district of DeSoto. You can see this map here, kind of what it looks like. And then also I'll show you the Shawnee school district here as well. Here's their map. Pull that up. And you can see that in Shawnee, there's more schools covered because of the space that it has. But both of these districts are award-winning districts. Shawnee has over 27,000 students and a student-teacher ratio of 14:1. DeSoto has about 7,500 students with a teacher-student ratio of 15:1. And you've also have access to higher education in Shawnee with Mid-America Nazarene. And don't forget about the University of Kansas, which is in Lawrence. And Lawrence is really just about a 30 to 40 minute drive. And so, you know, whether your family's looking for K through 12 education or you're looking for that secondary education, you'll be able to get that. And so, you know, Shawnee has done a great job of really making sure that the community focus, because there's so many families and so many children that continues to focus on education. It's why they have these A-, A+ rated schools, so many of them. So if you've got children, just know one of the big pros is that the quality of education that your children can get in Shawnee. My kids went there, and some of these schools are just absolutely incredible. And you'll love knowing that you've got top-rated quality schools right there in Shawnee, Kansas. For your kids. One of the other things that makes it a huge pro is safety. And it's another reason why I love Shawnee is the sense of security that comes with living there. You know, whether you're walking around the neighborhood, taking a jog in one of the parks, or heading home after a late night dinner, there's a strong feeling of safety that really enhances the quality of life here. You know, beyond low crime rates, Shawnee is also a community where people look out for one another, whether it's through the neighborhood watch programs and groups that you'll see, or simply knowing your neighbors. I mean, this is kind of a close-knit community support, especially, it's one of those things that's intangible because it makes a huge difference. Many of the neighborhoods have neighborhood event parties and the neighborhood pools, neighborhood parks. And so when you live in these neighborhoods, you're definitely going to get to know people there, and they just, they watch out for the neighbors. I mean, it's just part of it, especially when you're looking at homes in the price points that you're looking for. So if security is a big deal for you, that is absolutely a huge pro. Shawnee delivers in a big way with making people feel safe there. The crime rate is much lower than lots of parts of Kansas City. And so that absolutely makes it a huge pro, is the safety that you and your family will feel living in Shawnee. The last pro is the outdoor and activities and parks. Let's talk about one of the best parts of living in Shawnee, Kansas, the access to the incredible outdoor activities and the parks. Shawnee is home to a wide range of parks and trails that cater to just about every outdoor activity that you can possibly think of. Whether you're into hiking, biking, running, or just spending time outside with your family, there's no shortage of options here. The Parks and Recreation Department has done an incredible job. They oversee more than 1,000 acres of city parks, the Shawneetown 1929 Museum, the Civic Center, and the city's 2 state-of-the-art aquatic facilities. The Parks and Recreation has they also offer over 500 classes for youth, adults, and seniors. Then you've got Shawnee Mission Park, which is the city's crown jewel, which has something for everyone. It's a gorgeous lake for fishing, kayaking, and even paddleboarding. Plus the trails, they kind of wind through the park and they're perfect for hiking, cycling, and it just offers a scenic view that makes you feel like you're miles away from the hustle and bustle of the city. Now, we've taken our family and our grandkids there a lot. We like kayaking and paddle boating and just walking around the lake, and then of course having cookouts there. And we still like coming here with our family and friends because it's just a great place to picnic and enjoy the day with a great lake in the city, as a backdrop. Also, there's a dog park here that your dogs can swim around. We've got a clip, let's pull this clip up, of my daughter's dog swimming in the lake. You guys can see that. And if you're more into sports, Shawnee's got you covered too. The city's parks are equipped with fields and courts for everything from soccer to tennis. Stump Park is a great place for soccer and baseball. The Mid-America Sports Complex and the 3 and 2 baseball fields are great for baseball and softball, and have lots of local and regional tournaments that are held there. And so there's always something going on, whether it's like a youth league game or just a pickup match between friends. And and don't forget, there's miles of biking and pedestrian trails that connect you to different parts of the city as well. And so with over 200 sunny days here in Shawnee, it's very easy for you to go out and enjoy the outdoor activities. And so whether you're looking for like a peaceful spot just to relax, or a challenging trail to go take an adventure on, there's lots of outdoor spaces for you in Shawnee. And that's what makes it such a great place to live. And so that is definitely a huge pro to end on, is just all the outdoor activities and all the events that Shawnee has. You'll find out with the Parks and Rec system that they're not only beautiful, like you got Shawnee Lake, all of these things, plus your neighborhood is, and because we do have the 4 seasons here, there's just a lot of times when you'll be outside. I mean, some of these days are just absolutely gorgeous, and it makes it a huge pro. All right, so that would be our last pro, is the outdoor activities and all the parks and recreation that you can actually enjoy in Shawnee, Kansas. So that does it for our pros and cons. I did 5 pros and 5 cons, but when you look at it all, the pros definitely outweigh the cons. It's why Shawnee is the number 4 best suburbs to buy a house in Kansas, number 6 best suburb for young professionals in Kansas, and number 7 best suburb to live in Kansas. And when we talk to our friends and clients that move to Shawnee, they absolutely love it there. So if you're looking to buy or sell in Shawnee, we'd love to help you with that. We've got a great team that's been having lots of success in getting buyers' offers accepted and sellers selling their homes even faster. We utilize some strategies that others might not use to really help benefit our buyers and sellers, and we love seeing our clients enjoy the process with us. Now, so I hope this video helped you out. I hope that that you enjoyed it. And if you live in Shawnee, let us know what you think are the good and the bad of Shawnee. Drop your comments below and share with others. We'd love to hear from you as well, what you think are the good and bad of Shawnee. So whether you're moving in 7 days or 7 months, make sure you reach out to us. We'd be happy to help you make that smooth move to Shawnee, Kansas. Give us a call, send us a text, email us, or schedule a Zoom. All of our information is in the description box below. And remember, our wish for you is that your buying and selling process is seamless, so you can focus on creating those memories for yourself and for your family, and that you love living in Kansas City as much as we do. Until then, we hope to see you around town.